Business owners in Nigeria are confronted with several challenges, ranging from limited access to finance to inadequate infrastructure such as roads and electricity, to regulatory hurdles and overall economic instability. All of these challenges make doing business difficult in Nigeria. However, small business owners such as Alice continue to push forward despite the roadblocks, creating products and services that meet people's needs.
My name is Abiola Alice Oluwatosin. I'm from Oyo State, Ibadan. I am into liquid soap making, and I also sell fabrics. I started the business during my NYC year. That was 2023. I was serving at telecommunication company. So I was thinking of how to make extra income and something that I can do so that will balance the role I was in there. So I thought of, and I stumbled on a thread on Instagram precisely about people packaging liquid soap as a souvenir for an event, and I was like, oh, this is really creative and unique. Then I started and I learned through YouTube, and I started with my grandma's birthday. Like my first batch of production was for my grandma's birthday, and I was like, okay, let me start with this one, and that would be a form of adverts for me too. And to my surprise, one of our friends, when I shared the soap at the event, one of our friends was like, oh, this is really, really cool, and I would like to have this on my own 70th birthday too. And that's how I got my first order, and that encouraged me and that motivated me to continue the business and like that. And here we are today. Started, especially for small scale manufacturers like me. It hasn't been easy, sincerely, but one thing that keeps me going, like despite the expenses and everything, despite the prices going front and back fluctuating, one thing I kept on doing is like I focus on the quality, because I know that my customers, they are used to me giving them quality liquid soap, and I didn't let the prices affect my production quality. And what I do is I buy most of the materials when things are favorable and cheap. I buy it in bulk. And the most challenging thing is the packaging materials. Those ones are really, really expensive, because when I try to weigh the cost of the chemicals I use initially, the materials that we use to package is even way more expensive than the liquid soap itself. One thing I know is that the way prices are getting higher, because the only challenge we have is that if the local liquid soap here is now expensive than the foreign one, that would be a challenge. But the way this one is increasing, those also are increasing. So and what I do is I buy things in bulk when they are favorable. And I believe that everybody are aware that things are expensive and all that. So,
Dr. Deborah Ayeni, a lecturer at the Leeds City University, sheds light on how small business owners can cope with the challenges they are confronted with, especially as the country's economic crisis has worsened in recent years.
Of Nigeria, that inflation is there. It is left for all the people in Nigeria to look at a way out. You look for way out in your environment. What are the things that I can do that can give me money? Identify problem. Identifying a problem will not give you money. But when you provide a solution to that problem, you have money. That is what should be in the mind of everybody. Or an entrepreneurial mindset. People don't have it before, but they are beginning to have it now. Think about how you can solve problems of people. the moment you solve the problem of people, you will make money for yourself. Because, one thing I used to tell my students, I said, wherever there is a challenge, there is an opportunity. And we cannot have opportunities without challenges. So that means opportunity and challenges are together. They have symbiotic relationship. Multiple sources of income. You don't rely on one thing. You start looking for other ways of making income. And then what are the things you want to do? Things that people don't have or that they cannot easily reach and you can get for them. You're solving the problem and you're making money for yourself. Multiple sources of income. That's a very critical thinking that we need to do now. And how can you do that? It is when you sit down and begin to think, oh, there's a problem there. What can I do? Business environments. You study the environment. You study the market landscape, and then you adapt yourself to it without saying, this is the way I want to do it. Yes, you have your own goal, but at the same time, you adapt to the situation, the current situation, to be able to sustain that business. That's for sustainability, you need adaptability. When you start a business, you have to put what we call strategic planning in place. It's very, very important. We used to say, he who fails to plan, plans to fail. Nobody plans to fail, but automatically when you don't plan, then what you want to set out to do is going to be failure. So you have to plan. And then you think about the feedback from your customer when you start. Because, these days we are in digital era. It is easier to do business now. You might not need to get a physical shop if you want to do online. So the money for physical shop is out of the way. Then you get your customers. You might even want to leverage on the online platforms like Jumia, like Gigi. You leverage with them. That is a way of navigating. But if you don't set realistic goal for yourself, you will just go like that. You won't even know what you are gaining, whether you are gaining, whether you are not gaining. But when you set a realistic goal for yourself, when we say realistic goal, is smart goals, objective that is realizable. It is is time bound. You understand? So you give it that thought, and then it will help you to be, in the right perspective.